I didn't know he said it like this. Wow.
He went off.
So Joe Budden hates BTS, y'all. I quote,
a little bit.
I hate them BTS.
Oh, there you go. Put the nickels on.
Do I need a reason? I hate them. Yeah. I don't have to divulge my reason to you. I just hate them. I don't want to hear that shit.
Just for clarification, Ice asked him to go into detail.
Yeah, there was more to it. They kind of, when you read it, it's more extreme.
It's funny.
No, did you hear how his voice sounded when he said it? He said it like typical Joe.
Yeah, it was just like Joe. Because I read it first, and then I heard it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I heard it. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah, that's Joe.
Then he continues, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to see them dance moves. I don't want to see you come down in the sky in a little umbrella. I don't want to see you come for the audience.
Why you gotta say it like
and
that?
link up like Voltron.
You're not saying
and do
right.
all that 98 degree.
Say it like that.
I can't talk like Joe, man. I'm sorry.
You know you got to be more angry.
I can't talk like him.
Even
so
if you're happy, because you know he laughs in between.
Yeah.
And do all them 98 degrees moves. I don't want to see none of this. Okay. And then he went on to incorrectly say, I know they big. I know it's China. I don't want to see it. To which host Parks Valley told him they're Korean. Then he proceeded to say, I don't want to see Korean in sync. Throwing down another 90s boy band reference.
Right.
So, I just want to start off by saying, for people that don't know Joe Budden, this is normal.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
It's an average episode.
It's an average day for him to just come out like this. So, I just want to let that be known. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. No. When you sent it to me, I just like shrugged my shoulders like, that's Joe. That sounds like Joe.
I'm surprised he hasn't said anything sooner.
Well, I mean, what?
Well, in 6 months, he's going to be like, you guys know what? I hate to say this, but
yo,
you know it. He's going to be like, I love me some BTS. Like, watch. In 6 months, you know Joe. Bro, you've listened to the show. How do these things go?
He usually start off by hating.
Wale's going to call him.
Somebody going to call him.
Wale, somebody, it's got to be somebody he respects. It can't be random people on Twitter because that's just going to embolden him to continue in that direction.
What if Wale does hit him up after this, man?
Wale's going to hit him up and be like, yo.
Wale got a whole song with RM.
That's what I'm saying. Wale going to call him. And Wale going to be like, yo, they got bars. You should check them out. It's got to be somebody he respects.
Yeah.
Because if it's somebody he don't respect.
Then he going to argue with Wale.
He going to listen. But
that's
he
actually content I would love to see.
Oh, him and Wale argue?
Talking about K-pop. I would love to see that argument.
I'm sure it's already in the pipeline.
Well, if it isn't, and if it comes, you heard it here first. But just another day.
Mm-hmm.
But you got some thoughts you want to get out on it? On the
matter?
Matter?
Sure. I got thoughts on everything. Some of them get me canceled these days, but you know. Well, as a person that mistakenly spoke in videos prior.
That's right.
Like the Blackpink video, the you know, I know
what
it
canceled.
Feels like.
That was like the first one.
Yeah, I know what it feels like to be ignorant. That's the word I want to use because, you know, a lot of people in the comments are like, Joe's being xenophobic. I don't think that's being truthful. I think that's probably going a step too far. I just think he's ignorant. And I think I've mentioned this before on multiple videos. Part of it is the American school system. And part of it is the United States news. Because when you really think about it, how often do you see news about what's happening in Sri Lanka, Italy, France? How much did you see Brexit talked about on the news?
Well, I do watch.
Well, you're watching independent news. I'm just saying, like, the average person, like, coming up, like, us being students, right? How often do we, as Americans, learn about other cultures?
It's no, not often.
That's a good point because, you know, I mean, I don't know much about the school systems now.
Same.
So I can't comment on
What does history class talk about? Your state and U.S. history. Yeah. And the only time other countries come up is if the battle that they're talking about relates to another country.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it may seem like probably international, they learn more about us than we learn about them.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Because everybody in every country knows hip hop music, knows R&B music, knows rock and roll music, knows country music. But if we walked around my neighborhood right now and just say, "Hey man, you listen to C-pop?" What's somebody gonna say?
They're gonna be like, "What the hell are you talking about?
What's C-pop?"
I don't know what kind of drug that is. You know, they're gonna be like, "What is C-pop?"
And that goes to partially. It's like I think Natasha had said it when we did the podcast, right? Well, actually, she didn't say it in the podcast. She's kind of hinted to it on her Twitter. Basically, like it's this ignorance as if America is the only country. And it's not necessarily us. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way the media presents news to us. They present news to us as if we're the only country in America, in the world. No, I'm just putting a broader stroke on how these things happen. How I end up mistaking Korean architecture for Japanese architecture.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's the closest culture that we see on our TVs? Is like that's from the Asian community. It's usually Japanese, right?
Mainly, yeah.
So I hadn't been exposed to Korean architecture. Hell, I hadn't even really been exposed to like Thailand architecture. And you know what I'm saying?
Man, yeah.
So it's like to know the differences. I still couldn't actually tell you the difference like 100% between Japanese and Korean architecture. I haven't studied architecture. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what comes from where. Our architecture isn't really my thing. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like that is part of the ignorance. Now, some of it is him not knowing. He could have did a little bit of research technically before he spoke on that.
He probably did.
Nah, because he wouldn't have said China.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, because Joe prides himself on being smarter than everybody. He wouldn't do that. Like, come on, Joe prides himself on being smarter than everybody, which isn't necessarily true. He's wrong most of the time. But he presents himself as smarter. You're laughing because you listen to the podcast and you know how it goes.
100%. Oh, I don't listen no more.
I don't listen to it.
But I did.
Yeah.
Oh, let's be clear. I love Joe Budden's music. I am not a fan of Joe Budden speaking.
I haven't listened to the podcast since Rory and All left. I'm just going to keep it a bug.
I stopped listening to it before Rory and All left. Just because, like, I can't tolerate much of Joe talking. I can listen to the music. He's really good at introspective speaking, but he's not good at talking. He's very annoying, very arrogant, but he can rap his ass off. You know, because I see some fans in the comments like, BTS is more successful than you'll ever be. I'm pretty sure he knows that, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't care.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't care. That's why he doesn't rap no more. You know, but the one thing I wanted to talk about in that instinct is the one thing that he said about hating them and not necessarily having a reason for it. And I feel like that is something that I've done multiple times over the course of my life. As an example, and I don't know if this is just something that the hip hop culture does, but I feel like I've heard everybody do it. You know, I've heard somebody say they hate Kendrick Lamar, but they've never even heard a song from Kendrick Lamar, right?
Yeah.
So, Backstreet Boys. Everybody. You know, quit playing games with my heart. I don't care who you are. Oh yeah, as long as you love me.
Yeah.
All of these great records, I'll Never Break Your Heart. All of these great records, right? I know them.
Of course.
But when I spoke to your average fan, I would say, I hate Backstreet Boys.
And why is that? Why
See,
would you do that?
why would I do that? It wasn't because I was ashamed of liking Backstreet Boys. I didn't care.
Yeah.
You could look at my closet. I had Backstreet Boy albums. My problem was the fandom that surrounded BTS, the TRL fandom. Like, do you remember that craziness?
Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, Backstreet Boys. Okay. What did I say?
You said the fandom surrounding BTS.
Oh, BTS.
But
no.
you was referring to Backstreet Boys.
The fandom, the fandom surrounding Backstreet Boys, Hanson. Like, do you remember the TRL episodes they were on?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
It was annoying. And like, just imagine if you hadn't even heard them before. I had did it recently. Remember when Stephanie came over? When Stephanie was coming over to do reactions?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, hey, let's check out some Billie Eilish.
Mm-hmm.
And I recall saying, I don't fuck with Billie Eilish. I had never even heard a full Billie Eilish song when I said that.
Yeah,
but my problem was like the fandom. I hate that guy.
Motorcycle man.
Every time.
Yeah, I hate that motorcycle guy.
It's not. He's on a
Moped?
4x thing. He's driving
A
around
quad.
his kid.
Oh.
Yeah, the quad with his kid.
Oh, they doing that over here now?
Yeah, they do that. But so my thing was
with
it's
his
like
baby. Nice.
with Billie Eilish, it was a thing where I was annoyed by the fandom's response. Right? They were acting as if Billie Eilish was the only artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that becomes annoying. Like, I was more of a fan of NSYNC than Backstreet Boys, personally. And it was annoying to me that fans were like, it was just like such a Backstreet Boys thing. Like, no other group existed. 98 Degrees was dope. But nobody cared. Because it was all about Backstreet Boys. I love Brian, Nick, Joey, all them motherfuckers. I love them. But I was just annoyed by my classmates and how they would react to Backstreet Boys as if they were the ultimate great. And don't get me wrong, that's fine. You can feel like that, but just the way TV helped. I feel like TRL helped.
Of course, they had to push it.
Yeah, so I think Joe was coming from it from that aspect of he's never probably heard a BTS song before. He's definitely heard Dynamite. He's definitely heard Butter. There's no way he hasn't heard them, right?
Yeah.
Even if you turn on the radio for a half a second, turn up, you're gonna hear something.
Yeah.
But I think Joe came from it from an aspect of, and I'm not saying it's right, I just think I understand it. He had never really listened to them before, but yet he's seeing them everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's seeing the fandom response. And maybe to Joe, he's just like, I've heard people that are better than these guys, but they don't get the same royal treatment as these guys
I
are
don't
getting.
know about that.
I don't know about that. Now when it comes to Joe, what other Korean act you think Joe have heard?
Yeah.
He might not have been considering Korean acts at all.
But you have to.
Because
he just said, I don't like, what did he say, them Korean sync.
Yeah, I don't think he likes.
And the reason I
He
say that,
doesn't like boy band.
but no, bro. I don't think that is.
Yeah, that's what it's saying.
No, because when you look at
and considering them in the same category,
think
as
about the
NSYNC,
way
Backstreet Boys.
that K-pop has been marketed in the U.S. The only groups that have been getting invited to the Grammys, to whatever, is BTS.
Yeah,
I don't think,
and that's annoying.
But
to me.
I still don't think BTS is no different from quote unquote mumble rappers, Tekashi 6ix9ine or any other. He
hate Tekashi too.
He hated all of them. Yeah, I feel like
I hate Tekashi too. Though.
But I think he's looking at it from an MC standpoint, a hip hop standpoint, more so than anything. I feel like Joe sometimes thinks he has to protect hip hop. I think because there might be some elements of hip hop within their music, I think that's where his response was.
How did the conversation start?
I don't
They
know.
were talking about the Grammys.
Okay.
And then he just said, he wanted to talk about how he didn't like BTS.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure there is some underlying thing that we're not getting, obviously, and we'll never get, because Joe will probably never talk about it on camera.
At least truthfully.
I just don't think he'll talk about it again. If he does, it's for the clicks. He's going to do it for the clicks because people want to hear him talk about it again. But knowing Joe is a fan of music, because, him and Rory and Mal used to play a song that they was rocking with for the week, and they would play people that... Hell, I learned, most of the artists I learned about that are kind of undercover in R&B came from Rory's picks, for the most part. I feel like Joe is smart enough to know when something is actually good and bad. I don't feel like he actually heard it.
What, Butter?
I mean, he doesn't know BTS's sound.
You think?
Or old sound.
No, I don't think so.
I'm going to disagree. I think he's
So
heard.
you think he's aware of
I
Fake
think
Love
he has
and-
heard. No.
Okay, so that he's not aware of their sound then.
No, he's aware of their sound because of what America has presented to the listeners.
That's not their sound.
But we know that because
So you
we
can't
are.
say he's presented. He knows
No,
their sound.
yes I can, because what has BTS been marketed as in America? Butter, Dynamite, and Permission to Dance.
The trash record
That's the only records that I want to say casual music fan that is based in the U.S. might know of K-pop, with the association of some other groups that have charted.
Sound, though. That's not representative.
But we know that they don't.
But so, you just said he knows their sound.
From what that has permitted in the U.S.
That's not their sound.
But we know that.
That's why I'm saying he doesn't know their sound. It's like me right now coming here.
The argument I'm making is that he knows the sound based on what's on U.S.
Is that BTS' sound?
To us, no. But to the listener,
it's not. It's not.
But I'm trying to perceive it from his point of view.
I'm not looking.
And I'm not taking up his side or nothing. But I'm just saying he's heard the same records over and over. He hasn't had the opportunity because one, he probably doesn't want to listen to any K-pop or anything at all. But what I'm saying is, from the options that he has had to listen to because of the radio, because of the Grammys, it's only Butter and Dynamite.
That still makes no sense. That's not a sound.
It don't make no sense, and you're perfectly right.
No, I mean, like your argument for it.
Yes, it does.
No, it makes no sense.
So if you didn't know nothing about K-pop, say all you listened to was music on the Billboard 100, right?
Okay.
What BTS songs are you going to find on the Billboard 100?
The two that you mentioned, but that's not their sound.
Yeah,
But you know what I'm saying?
No, my point is not their sound.
I
get what Dane's saying too. He's like, they don't know their real. They don't know.
If I came in and I played you,
I'm talking about the casual radio listener.
But Joe doesn't.
It's not his sound.
But Joe should know. I mean, because we know, but Joe doesn't have the opportunity to know, right? Or at least he hasn't took the time.
Pump It Up is not Joe Budden's sound. If you come to somebody and say, "Hey, this is Pump It Up from Joe Budden," and they say they don't like it, and then you can play them 30 records that sound nothing like Pump It Up.
You saying that?
Sound
I'm not being oblivious to that, but you're doing
not his sound.
You're doing that person a favor by introducing them to the sound. The radio is not doing that.
No, they're not.
The radio is playing Butter and Dynamite.
Because that's where the ratings are at.
But that's the only influence he got. Ice and what's the other guy named Parks?
No,
they don't. Oh yeah, well the other guy.
Parks
they probably don't have no BTS on their playlist, so they can't. They can't be the one to introduce them like you would be able to do. Joe.
Parks might.
Okay,
because he's an engineer. He listens to that.
Okay, music. That's fair.
But why would either way? Not necessarily defending what he's saying. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying I think I understand. People tend to hate the popular thing. Just in general. Hate the popular thing. You know, Avengers comes out. There was a lot of people that are just like, hey, I hate it. I hated Endgame. It sucked.
Yeah.
Why did you hate it? I don't need a reason. I didn't like it.
Yeah, because some people feel like they're just rehashing old stuff.
I'm a DC fan. I don't like the fact that people ain't watching the Justice League.
Yeah. But they'll be the first one to make a video so they can get them clicks. The clickbait. I hated Endgame. Which is exactly what Joe is doing right now.
Yeah.
This is just for attention.
No, he does that on the Wednesday.
Well, for the people that don't know. But yeah, this is just for attention.
His show, he looks at his show as, like, don't get me wrong, he's loving all the tweets. Like, people think they're probably hurting his feelings. He's at home dying laughing.
Oh, well, I have some right here, you know. He said he was responding to people on Twitter. He said somebody was like, what does it say? Somebody said it wasn't a music opinion though. It wasn't a music opinion though, was it, Joe? We all have our preferences, but your reasoning never mentioned music. He responded, it certainly was, just not in the hateful clips floating around. This was a music conversation. Somebody else said, why do men always bother us with their unwanted, racist, stupid opinions? You said you hated them for no reason and you called them Chinese. How is that a music opinion? Joe responded, oh, stop it. I made a mistake and was corrected. And then played a white boy band. Fuck out of here. And then somebody said, Joe, why you trending? And he responded, because I don't like assembly-built pop.
That's exactly what I'm basically saying.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sure if he dug into BTS discography, he'll probably have some more respect.
Would
For
he?
what
think
he's
so.
being presented right now. I mean, you know, I
Yeah,
think Joe sees it.
It's basically the safe record. Why I'm not really a fan of Permission to Dance. It's the super safe records, right? That what's the stuff that actually makes you like BTS? The records that take a chance. The records that's why we listen to K-pop in general, right? Artists come back and you don't know what they about to do when they come back. And they're usually doing something creative and different.
Oh yeah.
Something that could potentially kind of end their career if it doesn't go right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, have a lot at stake too. A lot at stake.
I don't know, man. Like you said, if Joe moves on from this and 6 months later he's liking BTS, or are we gonna see
I feel like he has to.
what's he call his series where he talks to the artists? What's that series called?
Pull Up.
The Pull Up. He gonna have a pull up with BTS?
Nah,
I wouldn't be shocked.
They're not going. Their staff is
wouldn't be
not going to let that
surprised.
happen. There's not with Joe. There's no upside to that. You know, come on now.
Maybe he can pull
And
up
then
with
after he does Pull Up, 6 months later, he's gonna be talking about how he really hates it.
Oh god.
Or he listened to their new single and he don't like it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Joe Budden is just really outspoken.
But I do think the
Trolling.
Grammys do
Yeah,
need to
trolling.
take a hit in this as well.
But they don't.
The
Yeah.
Grammys.
Why you say that?
I mean, first of all, I just want to put it on record. I hate the Grammys anyway.
I think
So,
pretty much people, everybody
yeah,
know you
I
hate the
don't
Grammys.
fuck with the Grammys whatsoever. I hate them. I dislike them. I have plenty of reasons. But the reason I'm not like Joe. I don't hate the Grammys for no reason. I have plenty of reasons to hate the Grammys. But Eminem's on record for saying that he's never going to the Grammys again because what they do is they just want the popular names so they can put on the marquee, on the advertisement, so they can get you there.
Yeah.
Whether
For
you're
sure.
going to win or not. And to me, it just feels weird for them to continue to invite BTS just to get their views up. I'm pretty sure there's definitely a bump in viewership when BTS is on the show. And I'm not saying BTS shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because at the same time, I'm glad they, get these opportunities.
But it shouldn't just be BTS if you actually fuck with the culture.
True that.
Because to me, that seems fake if it's just BTS. It's just like, y'all, and it's not just them. It feels like the whole Hollywood in general. Like John Cena is like the biggest BTS fan.
Well, he prior to all this, he was.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
I'm not saying he's not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like it feels slightly manufactured when people are going on James Cardone and Jimmy Fallon like, hey, my favorite group right now is BTS, and everybody's like, oh my god, and then they're trending. What happens when they say that? They're trending. John Cena's a fan of BTS, trending on
But they're
Twitter.
the biggest group.
I understand that.
So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but
But
at
I'm
the
just
same
saying,
time, they're the
if
biggest
the
group.
Grammys was real, and they're not, they're super phony, super fake. It wouldn't just be BTS there. Twice would be there, Red Velvet would be there,
Oh, yeah.
NCT would be there, Stray Kids would be there. I'm talking about, bro, these people that I don't care. These people have been putting in more work than BTS over the last year. But BTS is the only one that's being invited to the show, and it's fake.
But
Not saying they shouldn't be there.
But that's
Be clear. But tell me the Grammys aren't being fake by just inviting BTS. They're like the only K-pop group that's nominated for
But
something.
I don't think BTS even needs the Grammy.
They
Oh,
don't.
yeah,
at
facts.
this point.
Facts.
They don't. I think they
don't.
just want to be amongst their contemporaries that produce music at a high
Yeah,
quality.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
pretty
of
much
course,
it for
of
them.
course,
Yeah. And then meet some other stars and celebrities that they probably seen coming up. So
Yeah, they look up to a lot of these people.
Like,
yeah.
say BTS wasn't the only group being invited. Say there was more groups. Do you think Joe would have had the same output?
Well, because BTS probably would have been the only one invited to perform. So I think.
But I'm saying hypothetically, if there were more groups, maybe let's say 2 more groups, you think he would still respond the same way he did?
Yeah, because it's Joe Budden. I mean,
if he doesn't dive into the culture, he's not going to understand it, regardless if it's 2 or 3 or 4 groups. Like, you got to actually sit down and get into it and ask questions, be confused, learn some things to really appreciate it.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Joe he's trolling or something.
Well, I don't think it was initially a troll. But
I mean,
once he saw the response,
I think-
it became a troll for
Yeah,
him.
because it's in his right. It's still his music opinion. He can have his opinion.
Yeah, it's his show. He can say whatever he wants to say.
And people gotta understand that, whether you dislike it or not, it's still his platform. It's his stance. He can say what he wants.
Yeah, his
And he
mind is
was corrected on his mistake
Right.
saying they're from China
he's
on air. So it ain't like
if he was to me, if he was really being xenophobic when he was corrected, he would have kept saying what he was saying.
Yeah,
True
he
that.
That's real xenophobia right there.
Yeah. And Joe's notorious from, crapping on other genres,
Always.
especially in hip hop. Especially, that's how he got that was his rise to fame with his podcast, talking about the mumble rappers and things of that nature. He based the whole show, his show that he had.
That's true.
With academics. It was based off him not liking the quote unquote mumble rappers. So he likes his style of music, and that's what he fights for.
Yeah. In general, I agree with his argument for music. I don't like the mumble rappers either. I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to preserve like the art form in there, the technicality in there. Like there's too much money in it now, where the technicality is leaving. But that's with hip hop and R&B. His take on K-pop, it's like, to me, I'm surprised it even made this much attention, just due to the fact that Joe Budden isn't part of the culture. It's kind of hard to, like, I'm not going to say it's hard to care, but it's irrelevant because you're not really part of the culture. You don't understand.
And I don't even think people really care about what he said. When I looked at Twitter, they were mostly making a joke out of it, like, "Oh, Joe's don't like BTS." Like, I don't think people
trended for 2 days. So
no, I'm talking about as like I don't think many people took it as hurtful.
Some people definitely did.
I don't
Some
know.
people was at home crying, bro.
I don't think that, man. It's because I don't think anybody would care about Joe Budden like that. That's just my opinion.
I'm surprised they do. Like, I'm surprised anybody, like, when you sent it to me, I'm like, oh, that's what we mad about? Like, people care what Joe Budden had to say? He's trending. Like, you got to remember, he wants to be trending. So you give him trending for 2 days, marketing dollars is up.
Oh yeah, he maneuvers well in this space.
Yeah, marketing dollars is up. Y'all basically help the man make some more money.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it does raise the conversation. I feel like you think Joe feels like he's protecting hip hop by saying those comments?
I don't think so. I don't know what was going through his mind when he said that. I think he just was thinking about how, because he watches those shows and these award shows, and he just keeps seeing BTS there, and he probably doesn't get it.
Probably it.
He doesn't get it.
But should that allow us
sees
to
the
make an
fan.
outburst? Like,
I didn't say it should make you do anything. I'm just saying he's going on Twitter from day to day. He sees BTS trending. He sees them all over the place. And then he doesn't know anything about them. He's just like, I don't like them. They're popular, and I don't know why they're popular.
I think you're right. I think it's just that simple.
Yeah.
I
think so.
We need Joe Budden to hear one of the ciphers. Maybe he'll gain some appreciation.
Somebody better hit Wale up. It's got to be somebody he respects.
Yeah.
And he don't respect nobody on Twitter. Nothing nobody says on Twitter is going to matter. But if Wale is somebody that actually bangs with K-pop, if Anderson .Paak came and talked to him, he would listen to Anderson .Paak. He fucks with Anderson .Paak. But if we did it, he going to he going to laugh at our tweets too.
True that.
Like, y'all pedestrians, what y'all want? Leave me alone.
That sounds like
mind.
some people say too.
And he gonna be on his porch smoking a cigarette, laughing at everybody.
Yeah, he's gonna need more than the playlist. That's right.
Right. It's got to be somebody he respects to present this to him. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. 6 months from now, we're gonna be talking about Joe Budden's loves BTS.
What about
or Joe Budden's loves NCT 127 or Stray Kids in one of his podcasts? Watch. Yo, my son plays some Stray Kids for me, and I love Stray Kids.
I can see that.
Y'all know how Joe
Why
Budden
the hell you sound like him, bro?
That's how he talks.
God.
That's how it's gonna be, bro.
Maybe Meg can talk to him. Meg decide.
Nah, he don't like Meg.
Oh, you don't?
No.
So he don't like that.
Nah, he says she's not a celebrity.
Okay.
So people got mad at him for that.
You better cross off the right people on your list. You're not liking a lot of people, man.
That's Joe though.
Man.
Well, Joe's smart enough to know that dissing BTS wouldn't hurt his demographic that listen to his podcast.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
I can see that.
If you listen to his podcast, more than likely you don't listen to BTS. I didn't say 100%. I said more than likely. People tend to gravitate to what they have some type of similar interest in, and I just don't see. But watch, give it 6 months, man. Joe Budden is gonna co-sign a K-pop group. It might not be BTS because he don't like co-signing the biggest in favor. He gonna co-sign somebody. Yeah.
Stray Kids, you said it.
Yes, it might be BY. Watch. You like your
Okay.
It might be BY. He likes the technicians. He likes the technicians.
Yeah, all right.
I can see that.
Okay. I'll see Joe Budden liking Yumda before anybody else.
No. I mean, respect. Yeah.
Or Jesse.
He won't. Nah, he might. Yeah, he'll
He'll fuck with Jesse.
Of course.
He'll fuck with Jesse. He gonna be like, yeah, I can see him right now sitting talking to her with his legs crossed. I listened to your song Gucci and I love Gucci. I feel like if
he's gonna be like, so who that be?
Right. I heard your verse on Wet, and I love that song you got with Jay Park.
Oh yeah, Jay Park.
When you said you can kiss my derriere, man.
Just stop.
Y'all know how Joe is, man. Joe is Joe. If you don't like him, it's probably in your best interest to ignore him because whatever you do is going to get him more exposure and he's going to make more money, which he really appreciates. So he might start trolling K-pop on a regular if he gets that much of a response because he don't get that much of a response from anything else. I just putting a battery in his bag.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly though, if Joe could actually end up respecting the culture.
At some point he will. Watch. 6 months.
That wouldn't be a bad thing.
Like 6 months. What were we in? April? Well, October, right? October. By October, we will get a tweet, mark my words, that Joe Budden co-signs a K-pop group.
Yeah.
Watch. If it happened before that, so be it. But typical Joe things take about 6 months to process.
Mike Dean got caught in this too.
Mike Dean? How?
So somebody asked the question because he was upset with how Kanye West didn't win Album of the Year, and somebody tweeted at him, said, "Name a group smoother than BTS, we dare you," and he responded, "Anyone."
That's his opinion.
And then later on, he apologized.
Why is he apologizing for that?
Because he got flamed up on Twitter.
Oh. Well, I just feel like that was his opinion right there. I'm not apologizing for my opinion. I can name a couple groups that's better than BTS right now, but that's just my opinion. You're perfectly welcome to say otherwise. That's
but
how
see,
it works.
and this
if everybody agreed on the same thing, life would suck.
But the thing I don't like is how I'm reading because of this. They flooded his page with hateful comments.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Do you want to talk about that today though? Because we talked about talking about that. I feel like this is gonna be way longer. We start talking about that.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. We gonna talk about that toxicity. I'm tired of being bullied.
Yeah.
Real talk. Hey, any more takes?
No, just don't take Joe Budden seriously.
Yeah, please don't, man. Yeah, please don't.
Like Dame said, he'll be on the Army in about 6 months time.
And I don't think he meant any hate. Like,
yeah, it's definitely not xenophobia.
Yeah, nah.
And I don't want to see any Asian people in the comments saying I can't tell them how to feel about things. I'm just saying that like if he would have said if he would have said they were from China, and Parks corrected him, and he would have still kept going about being from China, then I could say, okay, yeah, he was on time. the hating the artist without really hearing them, I don't think that had anything to do with race.
No.
That's just the Joe hating the popular thing.
Yeah, and believe it or not, there's artists that really respect Joe's opinion. Even if they don't like it. They respect his opinion because he's been there, he's done that. He's a brilliant MC.
He's very knowledgeable. Matter of fact, BTS might want to talk to him when it comes to contract negotiation. I mean, ain't nobody. One person that's been screwed in their contracts more than just about anybody is Joe Budden.
Yeah, he's accepted every contract you can think of.
Yeah, oh yeah, he can tell them about every type of contract, every do, every don't. It might be a good conversation for them to have.
Oh my God.
You laughing, but you know it's the truth.
It's facts.
You see this X and this line after that? Don't sign it until you read it.
Yeah, he know about all this.
Cause I ain't signed way too many times.